Live. Hi. Come on in. It's almost 3 minutes before we're going to start with my guest. But welcome to the third chapter, Women Living Fully. I'm Kathie Donovan, your host. And this was an idea planted in my beautiful brain to talk with women about life in the third chapter, 55 plus. To discuss with them the challenges of this chapter, the tools that we use to navigate, and the gifts and lessons we're uncovering, because no doubt there are gifts and lessons to uncover in this third chapter. So I'm going to bring in my guest, Katherine Cooligan. On her own with a partner, on her own, on their own, in the world. And that is, daunting. There she is. Daunting, but she's got the, if anybody I know has the courage to do something like this, it's my friend Katherine. Hi, Katherine.
Hi, Kathie.
Glad to see you. Welcome to the third chapter, Women Living Fully. I know you are.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And I know you have a very full life. I've known you for quite a few years, but you've always had such a full life. And I'm happy to see that you're in your home. Is it your home office today?
Yes, I'm in my home office.
Love that. And you have a beautiful view out your window. And, this third chapter is filled with, oh my gosh, so many conflicting emotions and thoughts and so many ups and downs. But what's really cool, I feel, is that our whole lives prepare us. In this case, all of your career prepared you for the step that you recently took in your career to leap off that cliff and discover that you indeed did have a parachute and were able to start doing something different than what you had been doing, which was corporate law. So I want to talk to you about your third chapter, Katherine. I want to talk about the challenges you're discovering in this third chapter now that you are over 55, the tools that you use to navigate, as well as the gifts and lessons that you are uncovering in this third chapter. So let's talk about the leap that you took in the last year to get us started on this. And I should say, you specialize in family law. And I did say in one of my promos that you are, if not the top family law lawyer in Canada. You probably would never say that, but you're definitely right up there at the top. And that's one of the reasons I love you so much, is because you are so successful. You help so many people, and yet you're so grounded and humble. It must be the Ottawa Valley upbringing.
That could be. So, yeah, I mean, Kathie, I practiced family law here in Ottawa for 32 years. So I don't know what qualifies to make somebody the best, but I certainly am one of the oldest. But when you work in one area and develop that expertise over the length of time that I have, I definitely had the benefit of, creating the reputation that those 32 years bring. And so, yeah, when I was faced with the decision of what to do when I was leaving big law, so I've only ever practiced in a large national law firm. So to go out on my own, on the eve of turning 60, I'll be 60 in July, was a really daunting challenge. I was thinking, what was I going to do and how was I going to do it? So yeah, it certainly came with a lot of emotions and a lot of shock, but I'm really happy to say 5 months into it that most of the fears that I had haven't materialized. And it's been a wonderful experience. Like this part, getting over that hump of doing the transition has been wonderful.
Yeah. So can we talk a little about the fears? Because this is one of the themes that keeps coming up for women, especially who might be leaving a traditional position they've held for a long time. What's on the other side of this? So what were you afraid of?
Well, because I was only ever in big law, I was afraid of facing an identity crisis. I thought, who am I outside of the large national law firms where I built my whole career? But I learned very quickly, and I think this is something that probably I take the greatest pride in, you know, when I built my practice, I built my practice on my own. I wasn't reliant on anybody else for any work. The work came to me, even though I was in those big law firms. I was the one that the clients sought out. They weren't coming to me for the firm. They were coming to me for me. I'm still me outside of that firm, and they're still coming to me. So the work that I did in building my expertise and my reputation, you know, that fear of coming out and being like, well, you know, am I still going to have the, will people still want me the same way that they did before? Am I going to feel that I'm lesser than because I'm not in big law? And, you know, looking back, even saying it to you now, it's like, it's silly. It was completely silly, but it was a real fear.
Yeah. I mean, we give so much power to that identity when we're affiliated with something and we've served that something for so long and we've been loyal and all of that stuff. Who are we when we're not with that? I totally get that. That was my identity too. Like, who's going to care? Well, it turns out a lot of people
Exactly.
care. A lot of people
yes.
care. And when you, it's what you said, when you build that strong foundation, when you build that reputation and people know what you stand for, they know who you are, they know what they're going to get, then it's easier for them to find you. You're just you, and you just changed offices, basically. So I love that. I love that so quickly, like it hasn't even been a year yet. And already you're saying, hey, you know, that parachute showed up. I'm good. I've got my people. And, you know, it's exciting at this stage of our lives to take on all of our power and not give it away anymore. And I don't think, in many cases, I don't think many of us could have done that at a younger age. You know, you were raising a family, you had to feed people.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true. The choice is, I mean, that's one of the things is, you know, I mean, I'm at a stage now where I don't have the same obligations or restrictions, you know, and that's one of the things that, which I love, the, you know, calling it the third chapter. Well, when this chapter is very different, you know, the words on these pages are very different than the ones at another stage of life. So, you know, yes, we're older, but we have different opportunities and, you know, different skills, different confidence. And I mean, that's what I'm loving now is I'm finding, you know, within these circles and like you doing this, Kathie, it really, you see that, you know, people are finding their voice and their courage and their power and they're doing something with it. They're not saying, oh, you know, I'm 60 and what, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's very exciting. To me, it's electrifying when I talk to women who are courageous, who understand that we all have transferable skills. Whether you were somebody who left a corporate job to do something completely different, all of the skills you've accumulated over your life are transferable. And that's one thing, you know, I've been at this for 12 years and it still astonishes me that I have so many deeply ingrained habits that help me in my business now that I learned over so many years in broadcasting. So, you know, it's totally a blessing, but it's fear, right, that keeps us. And it's what are people going to think? And are they going to want me? Am I going to be successful? I'm afraid to be seen. I'm afraid to be out there on my own. So many fears. But I love that when we share these stories and you share your truth and I share mine, that other women feel they have the permission to try something that they may want to do in their heart of hearts, you know? So can we talk about then some of the challenges that you're encountering in your third chapter of life?
So I would say the biggest challenge is really, it's a very steep learning curve to be now merging running a business and practicing law. I was in management, senior management in the last law firm that I was at. So I did have some of that, but it's completely different when, you know, you're out there on your own. I'm interacting with all the different professionals you need for your team. And so there's a big learning curve. There's a lot of energy, you know, running the practice and doing, you know, practicing law and running the firm. But I have a partner who's with me. My team from my last law firm came out with me. We've added to the team. We've built a fantastic team. You know, every day I'm so grateful for the fact that we brought all of these people together in very short order, a lot of them not knowing one another, and everyone's working so well together and rowing in the same direction. So I would definitely say that the challenge is the energy and the learning curve of it. But it's still exciting. You know, it's still, with the challenge is the opportunity. I'm learning new things. I'm excited about, you know, running my own business for the first time, really running my own.
Yeah. I'm excited for you too. And I think, you know, to your point about energy, I like to say that as I get a little older, I require a little more maintenance. You know,
Yes.
I have to take a little pause now and then,
Yes,
you know, and take care of me, because the most important person in your business, if we don't have you, we don't have
that's right.
business. So we have to, you know, this is one of the key things I think in the third chapter is learning to put ourselves first. It sounds weird, but especially for those of you who have been parents, you've always put your family first. And now it's time for you to really look at, what do I need? And listen to your body, listen to your intuition when it tells you you need to have a pause and sit in your garden and drink a cup of
Yes.
tea, you know, or have a weekend off, or, you know, go away for a trip or something like that. We need to have a little more maintenance and put ourselves first. So that's certainly one of the challenges, is finding the energy to take on these wonderful, exciting adventures. Before, is there anything else you want to talk about as a challenge?
I would say another challenge is building the network. It's a new network now. So I'm in a different place, and, you know, it's another challenge of getting out of my comfort zone of what I used to be doing and reaching out to different people in different sectors now. And so that was, like, again, part of the learning curve, but it's also part of the growth and part of the reward.
Yeah. And that's how we build the confidence. I mean, that's the piece, right? You've got to put yourself out there on your own, butt naked in the middle of the road.
I don't know about that.
And say, well, figuratively speaking only, but just to say, you know, here I am, this is what I have to offer, and who do I need to connect with, and how can we connect? And yeah, it requires a different type of
Yes.
courage, but it requires a lot of courage. So good for you, because you know, understanding and meeting that challenge will only bring more confidence in you as a business person, as a business owner. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I can't think of anything else. I mean, it's been a major focus of my life. You know, I do definitely want to find a little bit more balance. I know that in the early stages, you know, you basically live and breathe it. So I do find that, you know, I want that to change over time, but I'm still realistic and understanding. I mean, my expectations were right. I knew that it was going to be, the first few months would be very heavy lifting, but I do see, you know, some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Good. That's wonderful. What about some of the tools you're using to navigate in your third chapter? What would you describe as?
I would say the finding people with the same experience, lived experience. One of the things that I have been so grateful for is the overwhelming support of other people who did the same thing, who left law firms and opened their own practices. You know, people who I didn't even know were reaching out to me and saying, saw you made the move, congratulations, if you need anything, I'm here. You know, other people connecting and saying, oh, you know, this group of women, these are all women who now started their own firm, you know, want to connect you with them. So that has been fantastic. Another thing is asking. I'm asking for help. I have no shame now in saying, I don't know how to do this. I'm learning. I need help. And I have honestly, I have no shame in it. And before, I would never want to ask for help. You know, I spent so many years helping everybody else. And now that's a huge tool that I have, is I call and I say, you know, I haven't encountered this before. How do you deal with this? More on the running the business side of things. The other thing is people like you. So, like, spending time, like watching your videos and all of the things you're doing, and watching what you do throughout your life. And in your third chapter, when you find, like, real life people who you know, who share their story, who inspire you, who walk the walk and talk the talk, there's none of this, you know, superficial, fake, pretending. Really, you know, finding the real people who I know, who will talk about the good and the bad and the ugly. But it's all about sharing the experiences. And I really do feel like through so many things in my life, so many challenges I've had, the greatest support has always been from finding people who have the same lived experiences, who will share with you openly and realistically. And I just find I get so much inspiration and support and confidence from that. It really gives me strength to see, like Kathie, you're a model, you're a TV star, you're all these things, and you're not stopping. And that's what I love, is that, you're enjoying it, and you can see that you're enjoying it. So that's a huge part for me, is, spending my time watching those and interacting with those who definitely inspire me in the real world.
Yeah. And at different times in our lives, we look to people in a different way for that inspiration. I love that you said that. I feel exactly the same way. And all of the women I'm talking with in this series are women I look at that way. They're all genuine. They're all just doing what they need to do, listening to their own good guidance. It's not show business. There's none of that. I don't need that. We have so much of that. We're trying to cut through to get to the truth of what it is to live with these challenges and times in this chapter. So I really enjoyed these conversations, and thank you for your kindness. I do remember when I left my full-time job in television, and I came to visit with you and do a few things with you at your previous job. And I told you my truth about how scared I was. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I really didn't, except I was following my own good guidance. And I remember you being so supportive and encouraging. This is the thing. We need as women to encourage one another to stand in our true power, because we can do so many things that we don't allow ourselves. We all have these burning desires inside of our hearts, and I want to encourage women to give themselves the permission to unleash and let it go, because you're going to find that there's going to be so much to learn, but also so many benefits from doing something like that. So I applaud you for that. And I know you're also very connected with other women in business, and you inspire them as well by sharing your story, by sharing your wisdom in family law and in business with other women. So, I know a lot of women are indebted to you too, Katherine, for being inspiration for them. So it's that full circle that I really enjoy. Any other tools you want to share?
I think really it's it's the people. It's definitely the people. It's also maybe little things like I always try in the middle of my day, in the middle of my afternoon, because my days are so long and so intense, and it's just, you could just never walk away from your computer. You're plugged in all the time. But I always try and find a little piece of the afternoon, just a 15-minute break, where I leave my desk and I take my little dog and I go and sit outside or sit upstairs, or just in quiet, just peace. No phone, no anything, just that little bit. And it's funny how and even in the middle of the busiest day, I'm holding that sacred. And it's really just so short. I only have time for that, but I really enjoy that. So that's just a little thing that I do. I love, I have such comfort from her, and just the peace and quiet, nothing else.
Yeah. Well, and that you've planted a really important seed for yourself, because you'll become very addicted to that piece.
I am.
And you'll just want more. You'll want more of those little pauses. And even those little pauses in our day are very powerful. And I do encourage people to make that time for yourself. 10, 15, 5, whatever you can do, half an hour, 1 hour, it's 1/24 of your day, 1 hour. It's only 1/24 of your day. So, I think we can all figure out a way to extricate ourselves from the busyness to focus on just being peaceful. And I love the company of my little cat too, because it makes you feel so good. They're just so happy.
It is a different, it's just the quietness and the comfort of her, that combination, I really enjoy.
Medicine.
Yes.
It's good medicine. Yeah. Okay, so can we talk about some of the lessons and the gifts that you're uncovering in this third chapter of your life?
Oh, Kath? The gifts are amazing. I'll tell you, one thing is, I'm my own boss. I don't have to ask permission for anything. I mean, I'm sorry, but after 32 years, if I want to go to a conference, I don't want to ask for permission. So I'm loving being my own boss. That's a huge gift. The gift of what I've already talked about, my team, seeing these people come together, working hard together. I just take so much pride in that. I want to teach them. I want to mentor them. And it's different when I'm doing it, you know, in my own firm, in my own business. I'm not feeding the big machine anymore. I'm not, we aren't, you know, just like numbers within an organization. It's really the autonomy is huge. The freedom, I'm still working hard, but I don't feel oppressed, and I feel excited. I feel that my energy is coming into me and my team. My energy isn't going other places. I know that the energy that I expend is appreciated. It's not, you know, there's so much in a big machine, you know, often you don't feel, you know, you get your paycheck, but that doesn't fill your soul. One of the things that I was lucky in my practice was that it really was my passion. I like helping people. I like making a difference in people's lives. So I did have that as well. But now I'm doing it more, not only for the clients, but also for building the team. And I feel like I'm building a legacy. You know, I'm not going to do this forever. I will retire at some point. That'll be the, I don't know, the fourth chapter, but it'll be time when, you know, but this will have been created. I will have created the legacy. The other thing I would say is it's a real gift to me to know that all the years of doing what I did and working as hard as I worked and creating the expertise, creating the reputation, being involved in the community, all of that was worth it, in the sense of it's still here with me. It's still giving to me. You know, I always say, you know, when you're helping others, it will come back to you. It's like the challenge and the opportunity. There's each side of it. And so I really feel that understanding that and accepting that in my own pride and saying, you know, I'm really proud of the fact that I am where I am today because I worked hard, I earned it, I gave, and now I'm seeing the benefit of that.
Yeah. I want to just go back just a second to this idea of the fact that it feels more meaningful. I think that's really important. And, you know, you said something about it fills your soul satisfying. You know, when we're really living on purpose, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's meaningful for other people and for us and the people we work with and for our families, because they get to see us being more satisfied, more fulfilled. And then I think the idea that, you know, the third chapter, by the way, for me, it's a third chapter. I'm not going to a fourth chapter. That's going to be a very long third chapter. The first two are pretty long too, so I'll take it. But we don't want to put any limits on what's possible in this third chapter. And I also love that you talked about legacy, because, you know, we need to leave a mark in a sense. You're making a difference for so many people in law, that you can leave certain accomplishments and achievements that you've done, things that you've created on your journey, there for somebody else to learn from too. It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it really is. I that means a lot. And it's interesting. It's funny how now, like, you know, I lost both of my parents in the last few years. And I had an uncle who practiced law here in Ottawa for over 50 years, Cooligan name. And I just think about, you know, what my parents would think about being out on my own, because it's a long time being in, you know, the big law, you know, like they watched me, you know, struggle through a lot of years and a lot of challenges, you know, as a young woman in a male dominated firm with the high expectations and all of that. And now I'm here, and, you know, the Cooligan law legacy is, you know, being recreated. So it was actually interesting what one of my uncle's partners from years ago, when he had the Cooligan law firm, said it was such an honor to see another Cooligan law firm. So the legacy means a lot.
It means so much. And look, I know your parents are just up there beaming, Kath. It's very exciting. And I know your mother would be saying, now, Katherine, maybe you could slow down a little bit.
Yeah, she would.
Maybe just a little bit. But anyway, they're on your shoulder, taking good care of you. Look, I think it's really inspiring to talk with you about all of the exciting things that are happening. And by the way, you know, now your children are grown and one of them is becoming a lawyer.
That's right.
That's got to be exciting too.
That's right. Yeah. And one of them is working in our firm too. So it's great. You know, it's really, you know, just seeing that even, you know, it's, there's just so many gifts. I feel so much pride of what I'm building. And it's not, there was so much of my career that I wasn't feeling that way. So it's really nice to have that feeling now.
And I think to recognize that what we said earlier about the fact that at a certain point, you know, there's a reason and a season for everything. And that season, when you needed to feed your family and have a predictable paycheck, that was important at that time. Our priorities shift just as our circumstances shift. So at this point, to me, there's so much more freedom just in my brain. I have so much more real estate available because I'm not feeding that beast anymore. I have so much more real estate available. And like you, I don't have to ask permission. I can say yes to what aligns with where I'm at now. So it truly is of the most beautiful times of life. And I like to share with people that when you're living on purpose and when you have purpose in your third chapter, you are limitless. You can do anything you want, and it can very well be the very best chapter of your life.
I agree.
Thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks for having
you, Katherine.
me, Kathie.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye for now.